Now let's explore how working moms can continue advancing their careers while staying actively involved in their children's lives. So ma'am, what advice do you have for working moms who are afraid to go into that or focus more on their careers because they are afraid it could probably jeopardize the family lives or time they have for their children or husband as a whole?
Okay, career advancement. The major fear that people have when it comes to career advancement is time. And I think we spoke about time earlier on in the program. We also are in a state now where technological advancement is all over everywhere. And the world is now a global village, so to say. And I think for career women, we're beginning to leverage technology. And so you don't have to be at work for long hours. And I think a large number of companies that I know in Nigeria are beginning to embrace hybrid, you know. So probably you work 3 days in the office, 2 days, from home. And with that, you're able to spend more time with your family, and then most often you don't have to leave your home practically to go to another place for you to go study. People do their masters online. People do a lot of short courses online, in the comfort of your home. Unlike before, when you have to, you want to go do a 3-month course, you have to leave your family behind and travel. You probably have to leave your family behind to another state or to but now all of those things have changed. So technological advancement, you can do your studying in the comfort of your home. So the issue of time, it's no longer a barrier, or space is no longer a barrier, or location is no longer a barrier. So with that, I can still advance my career and still have ample time to spend with my family.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I'm sure you can attest to that and agree with me that what she just said is interesting. Okay, now, how important is flexibility to working moms, and how can they negotiate flexible working conditions?
Negotiating flexible working conditions. Now, first, let's take it from this perspective. It's not all working mothers that actually need flexible hours, because some have flexible hours already. Now, I was telling you something earlier before the program started, and I said some working class ladies, high class, they close at 2 p.m. Some, they don't even resume work until later in the evening because they are on shift. And then you have those who do the 9 to 5, by extension, some 7, 8 p.m. But now we're talking about negotiating flexible hours for those who fall in that category.
Yeah.
Before you get to that level of being a superstar career woman that would need to negotiate flexible hours, you must have paid your dues. You must have gotten to that, cadre where your word, it's like, one, not just your word is your bond, okay, but your word is power. Let me put it that way. So now, for you to be able to do that, your employer must trust your competence enough to agree to whatever it is that you are demanding. And again, for those who are in that category, like the hybrid system is already in place. My niece, she reports to her immediate boss in South Africa, and she works 3 days in the office and 2 days at home. So those 2 days at home, she's advancing her career, she's there with her children. Even the children, of course, they have to go to school. So what we're saying is you are there at home for them at least 2 days, fully at home with them, 2 days. And then you can also work from anywhere. So we are in a time where we should be able to take all the advantage that is, before us, as career women. You should be able to. And another thing is your employer, I keep referring to it, your employer is also a parent. So it will be unfair on anyone to demand of you what he or she cannot give. These are things that we need to begin to bring. These are things that are happening in other countries. And we need to begin to put them to focus here in Nigeria. It's not about, oh, well, the system, the environment. No. It's the same everywhere. Why is it that people live here, they are in other country, and they can fit in perfectly well, and you can, if your time to close is 5 p.m., no boss is going to come and meet you and tell you, oh, yeah, you can't go now, you have to work extra 1 or 2 hours. If that is going to happen, it must be with your consent. And then your employer is paying for it. So the choice is yours to want to do it or you don't want to do it. So I think it's high time that those things begin to come to play, even in our own society, because we are not different.
Thank you so much, Ma. So how can employers support working mothers that are in their career advancement while recognizing the demand for raising children?
Well, for employers, we really need employers to support the working mothers. And I'll tell a few things which I believe can be done. And I have seen one actually in practice. I walked into a company some time ago, and I discovered that they have a nursery. It's a corporate establishment, and they have a nursery, and they encourage the working class mothers who probably just resumed from maternity, to come in with their babies so they can continue to retain the bond whilst they are advancing their career. And then the company also went extra mile to make sure that corporate nannies, are engaged to take care of those children within that period of working hours. That's one of the ways that a company can actually encourage and support working mothers, career mothers. Another thing I'd like to say is, please, 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 our employers, don't make unfair demands of working class mothers. I said something earlier that every employer is also a parent. Yeah. So don't make unfair demands. Don't try to keep your employees longer than necessary. They need to return home, just as you would want to. You see some employers, they have left the office, and they still give their employees work to say they should. No, it's unfair. So employers, please, don't make unfair demands. Don't ask them to work extra hours when you know the work can actually be done on another day. So with that, I think a lot of mothers would have relaxed mind to work and then also keep the home front.
That's interesting. I just hope every employers out there can adopt that style of, helping mothers. We've covered some amazing tips on career advancement, but there is more to discuss. When we return, we'll talk about how to build a strong support system that helps working moms thrive in both ways. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Amazing Women. We've been learning how working mothers can advance their careers while raising kids. Now let's talk about the importance of having support system in place to manage these dual responsibilities. So, Mom, how can women build a reliable network that can help them juggle career and being a mom?
Okay, let me start by bringing to fore something we grew up seeing our parents, do back then. There's a Yoruba adage that says, Oju mẹ́rin ló ń bímọ, ìgbà ojú ló ń wò. That being, a man and a woman come together, they give birth to a child. But it is the entire community that raises that child. Yeah. So bringing that to the present time, what do? Things have evolved. So what are we talking about? We're saying, let's build a community. Let's build a village. Working mothers, build a community. Look around you, your friends, neighbors who are in similar scenarios, similar situation with you. Relate. You know, we live in a society now where I don't even know my next neighbor. So how can such a person cater for my child at the time of need when I'm not there? So we need to get back to doing those things. Remember I said at the beginning that there are 3 major things that, you know, surround this entire thing. We need to learn, we need to unlearn, we need to relearn. So these are part of the things that we need to relearn. It's been happening before. They are being phased out gradually, but there are things we need to bring back. We need to rely on the support of friends, of neighbors, of family, you know, so that we have parents who we all are doing the same thing. We all are career women. We have children. Our children can come together. They can form, well, not an association, but then they can form peer group. They can, as parents too, we can, you know, develop a formidable force whereby we are able to help each other. You are there. You can take care of the children of 3, 4, you know, women when you have the time. At another time, it might be my turn to, you know, so something like that, we can do that. Then again, we can outsource. We also need, you can't do everything. So one of the things that you can do to have a support system is to also bring people into your space. But with that, we need to be careful. So, but you can bring people into your space to also help you to achieve your aim. So I think all the things that we have been doing, coupled with these 2, if we do them well enough, we will have the support that we need.
Thank you, ma'am. So I would like to ask you now, burnout is a real risk for working mothers. Now, ma'am, how can moms take care of themselves while juggling career advancement and parenting?
All right, let me start from this point. Self-care is not a crime. It's actually a necessity for every woman who wants to be successful and if you want to live long. So one of the things that you need to do is, as you have visioned out what you want for your life, for your family, for your career, you must also decide what is it you want for yourself. So one of the things to do is make sure that you factor in your rest. Rest, rest, rest. Every woman, please rest. Every career woman, please rest. We need to start shouting it because the way women drop, we need people to factor in rest into their system. And then make sure that you sleep well. And also make sure that you engage, you know, exercises here and there. Know what works for you. It's not everyone that will do 30 minutes walk every day. It's not everyone that is going to be on the treadmills for hours, but just know what works for you. Personally, my daughter, she came on holiday like a few weeks ago, and before she went back, because I do my, you know, like 15, 20 minutes walk, like 2, 3 times, you know, a week. And while she was around, we just see me do that. I was like, Mom, you're out again. Of course, I have to do it, you know. So it's one of the ways that I like keep alive, you know, make sure, because at the end of the day, it's because you are there, because you are alive, because you're good, up and doing. That's when people remember to call you. The same way you must be good and up doing for your employer to need you to work and rely on your competence. So what are you working for yourself? You want to take care of the job, you want to take care of the family, you need to take care of yourself. So rest. Second thing, rest. Third thing, rest.
Thank you. We've heard it from her. You have to rest. Rest, rest, and rest again. We've covered a lot today, from time management to building support system. But when we return, we'll get Mrs. Moyioluwa's final thought on how to maintain long-term success, both as a mother and in your career. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Amazing Women. We are wrapping up our discussion on how to balance raising kids while advancing your career. We've learned so much valuable tips from Mrs. Moyoluwa today. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, let's hear our final thought on how working moms can sustain success in both areas over time. So, ma'am, how can women pursue their personal growth while still being emotionally and physically present for their children?
The simple answer is don't lose yourself in exchange for your career. Don't. Many people have lost themselves in exchange for their career, and because the person is lost, your family can't even find you in the circle. So the simple thing is don't lose your person. Don't lose your personality in exchange for your career. It's not worth it.
It's that simple. What advice do you have for working moms who are still in different stages of their career, whether they're just starting out or they've been in it and they're already on the leadership role stage?
There are different stages, and it comes with their peculiar demands. Let's start with the beginners. If you're just starting out in your career, the first thing for you is to know the demands of your career. When you know the demands of your career, then you know if it's something that you can give your all to. People have found themselves in certain career by mistake. Some by pressure. Some they feel because they couldn't get what they wanted. So but if you're where you want to be and you're building a career for yourself in that field, starting out you must know what are the demands and see if it's something that you can meet up with. And in doing so, you must be able to set, your visions and your priority right. Now, if you have been there, you are there and possibly in the leadership cadre, one thing you need to understand is what your career demands of you is your skill. That's what your career demands as a leader. What your career demands is your skill. What your employer is paying you for is your competence. Now, what your home needs, it's your emotional attachment. So, but we make the mistake of getting so emotionally attached to our career, and it takes away from the home. So I must have an understanding as a leader, as much as I'm passionate about my work, about my career, I must have an understanding that what actually my career demands for is my skill. Because if I'm very emotional about my career and the skill is not there, your employer will get another person. Now, if you are so skillful, but you are not emotionally attached to your family, your skill will not take the place of emotion. So we must be able to decipher which goes where. So for your career, it demands for your skill. For your home, your emotional attachment. And so once we are able to separate both and we function effectively, women are multitasking, So once we're able to do that, we discover that your career is flying, your family is doing beautifully well. That's my thing.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Olutayo, for being here today.
Thank you for
We
having
really
me.
appreciate your expertise and helping us explore how women can balance raising kids while still advancing in their career. From Amazing Women, we have this token for you, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for all the insightful messages you have for everyone out there.
Thank you very much for having me on the program. I really had a wonderful time. And we all are created to be amazing.
Absolutely.
And no woman should settle for less.
Thank you so much. You hear that? No woman should settle for less. To our viewers, we hope you found today's episode insightful and empowering. Remember, while the journey may not always be easy, with the right strategies and support, you can succeed both as a parent and a professional. If you have any question or you want to share your own experience, feel free to connect with us on social media. We'd love to hear your stories. Thank you for watching Amazing Women. Until next time, keep striving for success in both your family life and career. Bye for now.